This is a little sketchbook that I managed to finish in about 9 days. I was very much inspired by this video, and I mainly wanted to try to make myself do this because I was asked to be a part of some exhibitions and I didn't really have any ideas or sketches or anything that could be turned into something bigger. So I almost did this as like a little backup that I can just flip through when I need inspiration. I also want to apologise for the weird angle. I do not have a tripod yet and I don't know when I'm going to get one. So this is the best I can do for now. So this is the first page. I started off with something I'm a bit more familiar with because I hadn't drawn for a while. So these are all like characters from Courage the Cowardly Dog. I, again, kept drawing stuff that I was already familiar with, but I somehow forgot how to draw a dog. Otherwise, most of these designs were previously on my Instagram, I think, anyway. These little guys I envisioned as like little toys that you get almost in those flimsy packaging, similar to when you pick up wrestling figurines. Again, on this page, I'm still sticking to designs that I've drawn before. So the rats are something that I've been drawing for years. I just wanted to be comfortable in this sketchbook to start off with, and then I sort of branch off towards the end, but that's why I'm mostly using pens and textures and materials I've all used before. These words are just from my notes app on my phone. These squiggly guys I draw a fair bit. This is my first time drawing a bat, and I think I did pretty well. This is just a page of playing with shapes. This is how I sort of came up with my squiggly starfish guys a while ago, as I did a page very similar to this. This is when I start getting into brush markers, brush pens. I am not necessarily happy with how this came out, but I get more comfortable with this marker as the sketchbook goes on. This was using the narrower texture, not the actual like brush pen, because again I wasn't familiar with using a brush pen before. This is the first time I've ever used one, as you can probably tell. Yeah, so I kind of got fixated on kangaroos for a bit here. I don't really know why. I love this page. It's probably the kind of style I'm more comfortable with because it's just abstract shapes and you can't draw them poorly. You can kind of tell when it gets to the end of a day because I start to draw really simple stuff. So I just drew a snake, which you'll see a lot of because they're very easy. I started to play with watercolors a bit more as well. I haven't really used them in maybe like 5 years. Again, playing with watercolor, but also sticking to like squiggly shapes because it's something I'm comfortable with. So I'm sort of adding a mixture of new materials but old designs. This is a different brush pen. I'm using the like skinnier texture end because it's something I'm more familiar with and I wanted to see if I liked the color. This page I don't really like as much. Like I like this side of it, but I kind of haven't done text in a long time and this looks like shit. But again, I'm trying to emphasize practicing in this and not necessarily having finished pieces. This one's a bit interesting. I think I was drawing to kind of cope with stress a little bit at this point, so I actually started to do more proper spreads because I was taking my time and trying to see it as like a therapeutic process. These are a bit cursed. Anyway, this is when I start using the actual brush part of the brush pens, and you'll see that I immediately fell in love with them because the rest of the sketchbook is basically brush pen. Got some little fishies, another like little cybersigil tribal-y design. I think I did a lot better with the brush pens when I was newer with them because I was actually focusing on drawing a bit more. I get a bit sloppy towards the end of the sketchbook, but I like these pages. If you're part of the crochet community, you might recognize haunts. I think the meme started before someone made a plushie of him, but I remember the pattern for Hans going around for a little bit. Obviously I tried to draw a horse and I hated it, and I was like, okay, how do I make this better and more whimsical? And Hans was the answer. These pages get a bit messy because the brush pen, like the ink obviously stays wet for a while, so there's fingerprints and scuff marks and everything all over these pages, but I kind of like it. This is just a little landscape because I haven't done a landscape with the brush pen before. Again, just some squiggles to get used to the flow of the pen as well. I really like this page. This is a swan, which I think I did really well. Again, considering I've never used a brush pen before. And this is just like a little vase. I did look on Pinterest for a lot of references for the sketchbook, but I sort of combined a lot of references together, so I wasn't exactly copying designs and photos and stuff. Very happy with this page. This one I also really like. So got a little doggy up here, which again, found on Pinterest. This is a little cat that's supposed to be lying down, but it kind of just looks like he's doing a little dance, but I kind of like that anyway. Then yeah, found a reference for a plant, had a bit of space at the bottom, just adding in random words when there's gaps to be filled. I am obviously exhausted at this point, focusing on the squiggles, obviously, because it's something I know how to do. And then yeah, went to do more traditional text again, and then just immediately gave up because I was so tired. I really like this spread as well. Again, this reference is from Pinterest, but it's just like a cat in a beret and a neck scarf holding a bunch of lilies or something. And I really like how that's turned out. I recently have started buying pins and badges, so I think I wanted to see what designs I could come up with for my own stuff, but again, the page is very messy because there's just ink everywhere. Okay, I really like this spread as well. I think this is probably one of the more finished sketchbooks I've ever done, where each page is actually like a design and not just a bunch of scribbles and words and stuff. Again, reference from Pinterest, cat wearing glasses, and another little vase. Again, you can tell when I start getting a bit tired and run down for the day because I just start doing shapes again. But I do think they're something I can reference. If I start making ceramics again, I'll definitely reference these shapes. Again, little vases. I think my drawing style looks a lot more finished when it's in a brush pen rather than just biro, but you live and you learn. This is a little dog who looks cranky. Again, I love these pages. I think drawing animals with the brush pen is something I'm going to continue doing moving forward because they come out so cute. In saying that, I think there's sketches of dogs at the end of this that look awful, but these right now are so cute. Like this little kitty. Are you joking? Yeah, this is when we start getting into the cursed dog territory, and I feel like cats are a lot easier to draw with a brush pen because they have more fluid movement. I think dogs tend to have a more rigid structure. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. This one I don't mind so much. He's just got a little party hat on. This one, not great. This was not a great spread to end the sketchbook on, but again, it is what it is. And then I was fed up, so I was like, why can't I draw dogs anymore? And yeah, then I finished it on the 5th of March. And I started on the 25th of Feb. See, like even now, I'm getting ink on my hands, which is like, why is this still happening? I haven't opened this sketchbook for 20 days and it's still putting ink on my hands. Anyway, might also do just like a quick little flip through. That's the finished sketchbook. I hope this was interesting. This is the first sort of artsy video I've ever filmed. I'll probably post some spreads from this sketchbook and my new sketchbook over on Instagram as well if you want to keep up with that. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope this was entertaining. Maybe it inspires you to do a 10-day sketchbook challenge or something. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.